Well, all right, people. So I see WWE's trying something new here with Raw Underground, and I actually like this. Oh my gosh, this is a rare occurrence, right, people? Take note of this. Write this down in your journals. This is for the history books because very rarely do you see the ruthless ranter actually liking something that WWE does. But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting idea. It's something different. It's something new, and it could spice things up a little bit. The first thing I want to address is the bitches. So they come in to the Raw Shane McMahon's. Here's Raw Underground, and they got a few bitches dancing on a platform. They're not too raunchy. They got fucking they're covered decently well. It's like so I saw Medusa bitching about the bitches, saying that this is a sexist thing. Even though these women have chosen to do this, it's not like Vince McMahon is holding a gun to their head, right? I mean, if they don't want to do it, quit. That's my position about women. These women divas complain about being objectified. Oh, bra and panty matches, this and that. If you don't like to do that shit, then they should have just quit when they were doing that shit. Like I don't get it. These women are getting paid a shit ton of money, and maybe they do have to dress provocative. So what? It's their choice. If you don't like it, then quit. So I'm sick of hearing about how sexist it is that women are being objectified in WWE. How about men? I see a shit ton. I've seen a shit ton of comments in my life watching this company about people on Twitter obsessing over how hot some of the men are. I've seen a lot of women on Twitter obsess over Randy Orton or Dolph Ziggler and say, "Is that is there a double standard?" Of course, there's a double standard. So shut the fuck up about a few bitches dancing on a platform for 10 seconds. I mean, seriously? Is this your top complaint with WWE? A couple bitch? I mean, again, it's not like they got their fucking whole tits hanging out, and they're pretty well covered. It's nothing too extreme here. So let's put this into perspective. And it's just adding to the ambiance. It's not like these women are the main attraction. I'm not that big a fan of seeing bra and panties matches and shit like that. But don't fucking come with the argument that that's sexist. If I want to see bra and panty shit, you can go on fucking Pornhub. So I'm not a big fan of that kind of shit. But at the same time, I'm not gonna say it's sexist and demeaning to women, because if you don't like to do that, then don't do it. When John Cena was rubbing barbecue sauce over Michael Cole's body, nobody was saying that's objectifying women, were they? No, they weren't. Or men? No, they weren't. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the actual Raw Underground. So I seen a couple segments here on WWE's YouTube channel, and it's like it's kind of they're branding it as a no rules type of thing, and it's interesting. It's spontaneous. It's actually looks kind of more like a real fight as opposed to some of these 150-pound cruiserweights doing 10,000 high spots a match. So it's interesting. I know they just started it. Maybe they'll add a little bit more story to it as opposed to just random people. And it looks like they're already doing that kind of, so that's good. But this is an interesting little thing. Like I said, it's kind of just more of a real fight feel. So that's good. But hopefully they'll develop it a little bit more, put a little bit more structure to it, and it could be an interesting little thing here. So there's my thoughts on that. I think it's a good idea. Now, is this going to make me watch WWE Raw on a weekly basis? Fuck no. that's not going to happen. Sorry, people, but don't get your hopes up. No Raw reviews will be coming anytime soon. I just can't stand it, and there's no way I'm going to waste 3 hours of my night. Maybe if it was like an hour or two long Raw, maybe I would watch it. But then you got SmackDown and NXT and the pay per views, and it's just way too much. I got better things to do with my life. I actually got a life to live. So, but I'll keep checking it out on YouTube probably. And it was an interesting idea. But right when I saw that Medusa, who by the way isn't very good looking herself, was she's kind of like Charlotte, you know. She's got a pretty ugly slash weird face, kind of a masculine face, but she's got nice tits. Now they're probably fake if I had to guess, just like Charlotte's, you know. So I make that comparison between Medusa and Charlotte there, but you know, of course you got people bitching about a couple bitches dancing on a platform, of course, you know, in this PC culture. And I got a couple predictions for you people. I got a couple predictions. Number one, about PC. I was thinking about that. I was actually in bed. I couldn't really sleep last night or 2 nights ago. I forgot, but I was thinking about it because we see more and more of WWE heading down that politically correct bandwagon that so many other companies and societies heading down. So I got a couple predictions. They might not be true, just more like things to think about, things that might happen. Not necessarily predictions, but number one, you're gonna have a transgender wrestler. You know, somebody who was born a man, born a female, whatever the fuck, transitions to another gender and decides to wrestle in that gender category that they transition to. You're gonna have it, I think, or something like that, something of that sort of a transgender, some transgender bullshit. I see that happening. And number two, you're gonna have a woman wrestling in the men's division permanently, not just like a one-off thing where she's in the Royal Rumble, but wrestling permanently in the men's division. You already see it a little bit with Becky Lynch calling herself the Man, which is a really creepy thing. Because last time, and she says she's pregnant, right? So last time I checked, men can't be pregnant. You know, men don't have a pussy, men don't have a vagina, but apparently, you know, Becky Lynch is the exception. But I think you will have a woman be like, yeah, you know, you know, oh, I could wrestle with the men. I can compete with the men. So I think you're gonna see that too. So just two things to keep out on the lookout. It might not be this year, it might not be next year, but a couple things to look out for in the next 5 months, 5 years, or something like that. I mean, you really see society getting really pussified. You really see society going down this PC thing. You know, you see many transgender athletes, you know, people that were born a man transition to a woman, then competing in the men's division of a sport and breaking records, and it's just total bullshit. I think you might see something like that in wrestling, because if you see that shit in real sports, why wouldn't you see it in a fake sport eventually? So I was just thinking about that. It might happen, and like I said, you see, you know, if a couple people are offended, usually, or they demand something, you'll get a couple crazy liberals, couple crazy kooks out there demand that WWE hire a transgender wrestler because of diversity or some bullshit reason. And most companies are weak, and most companies cave to this bullshit. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happens over the next few years. And yeah, people are just so pussy nowadays. They're either offended for bullshit reasons, or they just act like they're offended because they want to play the victim and then complain on social media about how bad they have it and how much of a victim they are. I mean, you look at society back in the 1940s, right, fighting through World War II, defeating the Nazis. You had 500,000 people dead, Americans dead. About, you know, our society now is about 100 times more pussified than that generation was. I mean, can you imagine sending people like this off to war? I mean, it's a scary thought. It's a very scary thought. I mean, nobody is tough anymore. You know, it's, you know, men are. But you know, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But you know, these videos sometimes get off topic, which I like. But there you go, people. There's my thoughts on Raw Underground. It's an interesting idea. I don't know how far you could really take it. You know, it's kind of a limited idea. You know, you could do a little bit more with it, and I hope they do a little bit more with it. But it is kind of limited too, in the sense that they're just in that basement area, and it's like, what can you do? Can you add an underground title? Maybe, I don't know, but you know, you could do a couple things. So it'll be interesting to see if they do anything with that. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on that.